Thanks, guys. Better late than never. And thank you for your patience. Dr. Cates and I, my colleague from Calgary, Alberta, would like to thank our hosts, Stephen and Alistair and Helena, for organizing this and inviting us to be here in your beautiful country. So I'll be brief. This usually takes me about an hour to go through our research, but I would like to take you through a little bit of what we've done at the Canadian Exergaming Research Centre. So, as you've seen and heard, there's been a significant amount of research done lately on the energy expenditure of using exergaming. And when we developed the Canadian Exergaming Research Centre, we decided to take a little bit of a different approach with respect to physical literacy. There is a multitude of definitions around physical literacy, but one of the common themes is that in order to have children develop a positive attitude about being active for life, there's a common denominator of their ability to develop competence and confidence in their fundamental movement skills. So we focused our attention in exergaming on pre-adolescent children, which are most ready to learn the fundamental movement skills, and their readiness is high enough that we can affect change in a very short period of time. So the Canadian Exergaming Research Centre is actually in an elementary school, and when it's not being used for research, it's a functional station. And as you can imagine, in the long cold winters of Canada, we need indoor stations rather than outdoor stations to participate in. We have a variety of experiences that occur, all related to fundamental movement skills, although you'll recognize some of this equipment from other studies as well. In particular, we spend our time talking about coordination, eye-foot coordination using the IDS system at Positive Gaming. And we use eye-hand coordination with the light space wall. The investigations in this area of fundamental movement skills are ongoing, and we'll be reporting on those today. We'll be spending our time today reminding or letting you know about some of the work that we've done in balance. So we have 14 WeFit stations, and we primarily use only the WeFit software with the consoles. We have one of the priorities of our development of the Canadian Exergaming Research Centre was that it will be a functional classroom. So we have 24 exergaming stations, stations or opportunities for 24 kids to participate independently. And so WeFit, of course, is part of it, as well as the Exerboard system that we use, which simulates balance using a virtual snowboard game. I won't go into detail about the flow or the details of the research, but just to let you know, we did run 2 parallel research studies with respect to the balance interventions. Grade 3s were using only the WeFit equipment every 3 days a week, and they were using it as part of their regular phys ed class 30 minutes a day. And the grade 4s used a variety of exergaming equipment that I've already showed you. So 2 independent studies with approximate numbers of about 7 per side, divided into 3 groups, and I'll describe those 3 groups to you now. Pardon me, before I do that, I'll let you know about our procedures for assessing the balance. We use two methodologies for determining balance. The University of North Carolina established a balance error scoring system they used in varsity athletes with respect to rehabilitation and concussions. We've modified the balance error scoring system to be used with children, and so that was one of the measures. And we validated that measure with HUR BT4 balance platform, similar to the force plate you saw before. This is a similar type of diagram, a posturegram showing trace length. And we were able to do pre and post testing to evaluate the effect of the exergaming interventions, whether it was grade 3s, 3 days a week, or the grade 4s, using all of the equipment 5 days a week, 30 minutes a day for 6 weeks. The research groupings, we had our comparative group, which was basically, they were just continuing on doing their regular activities that happened in January and February in Calgary, and they included paddle sports, organizational games, badminton, etc. We had another group that we evaluated, of course, for balance, and that was the exergaming group, and I described to you the difference between the grade 3s and 4s already. And then finally, what we decided to do is, rather than just compare the exergaming group against the control, we decided to evaluate the impact of a teacher-led agility, balance, and coordination unit. This is a unit that you'd be teaching if you wanted to develop those fundamental movement skills. You'd do things like dance and some gymnastics. And we wanted to compare how exergaming did, not just against the control, but also against a teacher-led program using more traditional equipment, mats, music, etc. So we'll get right to the point here because this is a real short 5 minutes. This was the results of our grade 3 study. As you can see, the pre-test on the left, on the blue line of the control group, and the post-test to the right, there was a 6% basically insignificant change in the control group, which is, as a researcher, what you want. But what's most startling, of course, is the impact of the exergaming in the ABC unit. I'm not surprised to see the phys ed teachers being able to affect change by doing 6 weeks of agility, balance, and coordination. What I was surprised with, though, is that the impact in the particular case of the grade 3s, using WeFit basically paralleled, and there was no significant difference between the WeFit and the ABC experience. 3 days a week, and so part of our mandate is to provide evidence for teachers who are interested in using exergaming as part of their curricular experience, along with much of the other research around energy expenditure. This now provides you with some foundation around fundamental movement skills. And the grade 4, even more interesting, or part of even a stronger impact. This was a 29% increase by the exergaming group. Again, the control group, for the most part, was insignificant. There was no change in their balance pre and post test. And again, you'll see the parallel relationship between the phys ed teacher teaching agility, balance, and coordination 5 days a week, 30 minutes a day for 6 weeks, and the exergaming experience. And much like Lisa Hansen's experience, we had stations, we rotated the kids through the variety of equipment, and this was the result. So very promising results from the perspective of fundamental movement skill acquisition. Where we go, there hasn't been a lot of writing, but there's a little bit in my slides. We have some qualitative data we want to examine, but more importantly, if you go to number 3, we're now going to continue our research cycle looking at agility, coordination, foot-eye and hand-eye coordination, and the concepts of laterality or working across the midline. We'll be using a light space wall for that particular study. But all under the premise of developing fundamental movement skills in the pursuit of physical literacy. We have to acknowledge a few of our funders, of course, the Alberta government and our federal employers, our federal funders, pardon me. And that's our contact information. We do have a website. It's universityofcalgary.ca/exergaming, ucalgary.ca/exergaming. And so if you need to get a hold of us, there's some information as well. And of course, I always put a shameless plug for my children, talking about the importance of balance, and there's their balance. So, thanks, fellas. So thanks to everybody. They're starting to become great fun next door, so we're going to have to start making some noise.
Jump up and down, yell, roar.
I need my 5-year-old.
Right.
Well, he's setting up my PowerPoint. We need a movement break. All right, turn to your right, give somebody a high five. If there's nobody on your right, turn to your left, give them a high five. All right, here's what's going to happen. You have 10 seconds to stand up and find a partner. Ready, go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, with your partner, here's what's going to happen. You're going to hold out your hand and you're going to get a thumb wrestling position. Thumb wrestling position. Now, it's best 2 out of 3. If you win, you go find somebody else who won. If you did not win, you find someone else who didn't win. Ready? Go. I see, very quickly, I have to go over some thumb wrestling rules. Okay, thumb wrestling 101. The elbow has to stay in, tucked to your side. That's the most important rule. The other rule is only the thumb is involved. You can't get pointer or even tall man involved. All right, ready, go. And stop. All right, nice job. All right, find your seats. Now that is 100% relevant because now your hands and your thumbs are completely warmed up so that you can really go to town on our soccer game back there. I don't want any cold thumb muscles. My name is Aaron Hart from the Spark Programs. I'm the development director for Spark, and my job really is to take research and put it into practice for physical education professionals, after-school leaders, and folks who need tangible, real-life lesson plans, resources to work with their kids every day. And so, as some of the slides that you've seen have shown, the research for extra gaming has exploded. So I'm behind on my reading, I have to admit. I got a lot of catching up to do. But over the next 12 to 16 months, our development team is working on Spark programs specifically to help you implement extra gaming in your physical education and your after-school programs. Where do we start? Well, we start with the standards. All right, so I have 45 seconds to present to you all. So I'm going to hurry up. But I'm going to start with the standards. And these are the three standards that we've been focusing most of our work on. Okay, standard 3, participates regularly in physical activity. Extra gaming is a great way to get kids involved once they go from school, recess, after school, wherever they experience extra gaming, and to be able to take that home. All right, so they can participate regularly with extra gaming options. Standard 4, achieves and maintains health-enhancing level of physical fitness. Well, the research is screaming that this is what's happening, right? That extra games do help enhance levels of physical fitness. And then number 6, values physical activity for health, enjoyment, challenge, self-expression, and other social interaction. A really cool anecdotal piece here is my mom right now is battling lung cancer, and she's lost a lot of strength. We have weed at my house, and right now the favorite thing for my mom to do with my daughter is weed bowling. And they laugh and they giggle and they have a blast. And my mom's sitting in her chair and her arms are going like crazy. My daughter can get up and she can be much more active. But the ability for them to really value that time spent together in really an active way for both of them is really tremendous. So that's just a quick anecdotal piece there. So when we take a look at our standards, what are the outcomes that we're trying to achieve? All right, so number 1, students will identify extra gaming options that are both enjoyable and beneficial. All right, I don't think that's going to be a tough one to be able to reach. Students can identify extra gaming as a physical activity option that will improve or maintain their fitness. So we need to integrate some instruction here so that we can help them see what that improvement looks like. And then students will identify extra gaming as a physical activity option offering personal challenge, enjoyment, and social interaction. Now, I know that there's plenty of Wii Sports games that offer a personal challenge to me, and I get frustrated when my daughter crushes me. So that one is built in there intrinsically. And then here, students will learn to assess personal fitness levels and log physical activity routines. And we'll look at that a little bit. So some important points here. Number 1, extra gaming should be used as one component of, not a substitute for standards-based programming. All right, and so as the PE person inside me screaming, I need to make this point. Okay, it's not a tool to put into a gym so that the PE teacher leaves and the kids are happy, active, and safe. All right, there has to be instruction and assessment which helps us meet those outcomes. All right, so how do we teach to and measure progress toward these outcomes? All right, so we started with the FIT principle. All right, and that's where our development begins. So early on in this, we started to take a look at how to measure frequency and time. And we're an advocate of the President's Challenge and the Active Lifestyle Award, and so we started with that. And with some of the General Mills grants that are out there where people are writing to try to get extra gaming into their programs for that, and also PEP grant funding, the Presidential Active Lifestyle Award is a great way, a tangible way to assess towards this. All right, so if you're not familiar with this program, basically kids, teens, they have to be active for 60 minutes a day, at least 5 days a week, for 6 out of 8 weeks. All right, so for after-school programs, this is a perfect platform where kids can come in and maybe they have 30 minutes to do active gaming, maybe they have 30 minutes to do more traditional physical activity games, tag games, that sort of thing. But here they are in this after-school setting, and now they can log those 60 minutes very, very quickly. At our local YMCA, we were lucky enough 3 years ago to win a PEP grant, and this is a part of what they do. It's active kids, so they come in, they have homework help, they have a healthy snack, but they're active for 60 minutes a day, and it's built in. So the kids that are there 5 days a week very easily earn a presidential award. And it's free, with the exception of awards, but starting at 30 cents, you can get awards for the kids. So it's a very realistic way to start to get the kids to understand, okay, well, frequency, 5 days a week, time 60 minutes a day. All right? So that's one place that we started, working with the President's Challenge. And when we take a look at intensity and type, here we're looking at the use of pedometers and heart rate monitors. And this is a practical application for heart rate monitors and pedometers. A lot of, pedometers and heart rate monitors have really grown in our profession over the last 10 years. But a lot of times I walk into situations where teachers have all this heart rate monitor equipment, but they're not really sure how to use it. Okay, well, this is a really good application, all right? And why bother? Well, we need to demonstrate the need for the effectiveness of exergaming as a component of physical education or activity programs. So if we can show increased elevated heart rate and time in target zones, that does that. Evaluate outcomes for grant funding. If anybody out there applied for a PEP grant last cycle, you know that pedometers are now an essential part of that entire process. Kids have to wear pedometers during evaluation segments in order for you to qualify for your funding. Okay, and so this is a good way to do that. And then to add standards-based educational component of exergame programming. So a quick look at the heart rate monitor log that we have on our Spark Family website. So teachers can go, they can download this, and they can print this as a part of their student portfolios. And the top part, it just helps kids calculate their zones. All right, so a lot of people say, well, why do you use that particular equation? Because there's all this debate around max heart rate and that sort of thing. I do it because it makes kids do more math. Bottom line, I want kids to do more math. 220 minus your age is just a little too easy for middle school kids and upper elementary kids. We want to make them do more. All right, so once we establish our zones, we can take a look at different activities, and this is where they can start to compare. So you can see activity 1 is 4-pass soccer that we do in our after-school programs at the Y. And our average heart rate is about 143 beats per minute, which is right in the aerobic zone. All right, you compare that now with Dance Dance Revolution and Game Vice, which the YMCA also has, and you can see those two activities also work in the aerobic zone. So this is a practical use so that the kids can see and identify that the same amount of exercise that they're receiving, same physiological benefits they're receiving in 4-pass soccer, they're receiving in DDR and with the game bike. All right, and so this is not for research, this is not to send off for publication, this is for the kids to practically log this and see what their intensity levels are during different types of activities. All right. And that is the last one. Do I have more time? No more time. He's telling me I'm over time. I'm sorry. Thank you guys, and you can actually stop by the Spark booth and you can use our computers there to send a letter right to your legislators to save the PEP grant. So please do that because this year was kind of shaky, and next year we want to keep it going. Thank you for those that clapped. Oh, you were clapping for her.
No, they're clapping for you. Okay. As I'm opening up this presentation, my name is Andrea O. I represent a company called iTech Fitness, and our organization is a little bit different in that we're more focused on the application of active gaming, which is synonymous with exergaming, in a commercial environment. The reason I'm here today is to really talk about active gaming beyond the classroom. Now, a lot of people have been speaking about applications of active gaming and exergaming in the classroom, how you apply it in curriculum, working with your students on helping to retain information. so on and so forth. But what I'm going to talk about today is, are there facilities outside of the classroom that can help to reinforce the work that you do every day in your classroom, utilizing the technologies that you have, like Dance Center Evolution pads, or bikes, or boards, or your Xbox Connects, or things like that. But also, what if you don't have the opportunity to incorporate active gaming due to budgetary constraints? We had some talk about grant funding and so on and so forth, but that also requires time and effort and patience. So I'm going to flip through this because I have negative time at this point. So I am the Extricate Director with our company. What we do, my role is really, I'm known as the Extricate Mama. I oversee the relationship and the partnership with over 80 facilities worldwide. How do they implement and practice active gaming to deliver the positive experiences that they need to with their members, whether their members are ages 5 all the way to 95, all ages and all abilities. So we really kind of take a page out of the education book on curriculum, delivery of active gaming to make it positive and to create a desired result. So active gaming in local communities. So these are multi-purpose recreation centers like your YMCAs, your Jewish community centers, not-for-profit organizations, fitness facilities which are primarily for-profit, country clubs, medical facilities, and retail locations. So really, there are active gaming opportunities everywhere. You guys just need to know where to look for them. So here, they're offering, and our facilities especially, because I know them so well, they're like my little babies or my kids. There are lots of different programs for different demographics that they offer, and I help to make sure that they're offering them in a successful way. So children, ages 5 to 8 years old, youth 9 to 15, tweens and teens up to 18 years. As you can imagine, with each different demographic, there's a different social requirement. Expectations, what's cool, what's not, what can I do, what can't I do? Physically, cognitively, emotionally as well. So we help them to identify the best way to deliver those things so that, number one, they enjoy what they're doing. Number two, they're getting the type of physical, cognitive, and emotional results that are beneficial for them and for these businesses or organizations to make sure they keep on coming back and that they really build on the community sense within that organization. Families, very important, something where kids and adults and seniors all together can do something at the same time. Adults, we know that 15% of the U.S. population are actually motivated enough to pay for a membership. Only 50% of them actually use it. So then there's 85% of the population that are looking for an alternative, even though they know that health and wellness is important for good quality of life. For adults, we give them alternatives to fitness. And then for seniors, brain fitness, cognitive fitness, physical fitness that they can do and that they feel successful doing. Now, what's really important that I'm going to talk about is the partnership with local schools. Now, like I said, I have 80 babies out there, and I work with them in helping them to focus their initiatives for success as a business, as an organization. Well, with these organizations, community centers, rec centers, fitness clubs, medical facilities, their peak hours are from 6 to 9 in the morning and from 5 until 9 o'clock at night. So their non-peak hours where they're struggling to get members to come in are school hours from 9 until 3. So what we do is we implement school-based partnership initiatives with local community schools to give them physical activity alternatives and also to kind of give back and have a low-cost or no-cost alternative for schools to go to and give them new variety for their students to engage in. So what I suggest for you is, at this point in time, as you're looking at grant funding and trying to get the funds to really implement active gaming in your facility, seek out a facility close to you or somebody who is incorporating active gaming as a service offering, because I can guarantee you they're looking for people to fill those hours, and I'm sure that they'd be welcome to have you give them a call. So, I told you I'd make it short and sweet. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to share a video with you. Just kind of shows you, because you don't want to look at my 6-foot-tall, skinny Asian body up here any longer. I'm going to show a video that just kind of visually represents what's happening out there in the community so you can see this. I'm going to make this louder.
We love pretty videos. Sorry, we love pretty videos. We'll get back to that shortly. So we're going to continue on with our great lineup of speakers. If you can see